Okay, next up is Makoto Takemiya, is co-CEO and co-founder of Soramitsu and co-founder of Sora, two different things. Makoto is an innovator, blockchain, and crypto expert. He has authored more than 20 peer-reviewed scientific papers and actively engages in research. He has an MS in computer science from the California Polytechnic State University at San Luis Obispo, and is currently a PhD student at the University of Tokyo. And little known fact, he is an American turned naturalized, where are you? There you are. Turned naturalized Japanese citizen, which is someone you don't meet. You don't meet that every day, right? So his Japanese is pretty darn good if you want to test him out.
Thanks, Sandra. So, I moved to Japan actually about 11 years ago and became a citizen 4 years ago. So that's why I have this Japanese name. But you can just pretend I'm not a white guy up here. I'll just talk for a few seconds about my company, Soramitsu, because I don't think we're that famous. We're not IBM or anything. And then I'll talk a little bit about a very exciting project that we're doing in Cambodia. Basically, I'm going to talk to you about how to create a central bank digital currency in a practical way, and some of the lessons that we learned along the way of doing this. So, my company, Soramitsu, I founded the company with 2 other people 3 years ago, and we somehow grew into 60 people now. We're a proud member of GBBC, and we're also a proud member of the Hyperledger project. Brian's here, great. So we started out our journey actually in digital identity and looking at this. And along the way, we decided we needed to build our own open source blockchain platform for a few reasons. And we created a platform called Hyperledger Iroha. Iroha, and then we gave it to the Linux Foundation's Hyperledger project as a contribution. It's open source, anyone can contribute to it. I'm happy to answer questions about it later. But we use Iroha as a blockchain platform for several different projects. One of the projects that I'll talk about tonight is with the Central Bank of Cambodia on creating a digital payment system for the kingdom. And we also have 2 other very interesting and exciting projects. One is called D3, which is a decentralized digital depository. Actually, the code is open source for this on GitHub, and we have a website at d3ledger.com. But this is a joint project between my company and Moscow Exchange Group's CSD, the National Settlement Depository of Russia, and KDD, which is the CSD of Slovenia, and also the Swiss crypto exchange Lika. I don't know if anyone is here from any of these organizations, but this is a joint project that we're doing. And that project's actually for decentralized custody of crypto assets. So it's quite an interesting project, and I can talk about this during dinner or afterwards as interest may be. But tonight I wanted to talk about what we're doing in Cambodia. So the central bank approached us over 2 years ago, and they wanted us to give a proposal about creating a digital currency in the kingdom. And one of the reasons they approached us is because we were the contributors of Hyperledger Iroha to the Hyperledger project. And they talked to many of our competitors as well, but they decided to go with us because we're a small company and I like to call us a boutique fintech company. So we're a very small startup, and we can work directly with their team. So we kind of did this integration of the team, and we're building a payment system where we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're actually trying to build another payment system that's in parallel to the existing payment system. So let me give you some background on Cambodia. The average age is quite young. It's about 24. Part of that's because of the genocide that took place a few decades ago and the war that went on for a long time. But the result of that is that people are very young, they're very energetic, they know a lot about technology. Cell phone penetration's about 130%, and smartphone penetration's probably between 70 and 80%. So basically most of the population has at least a smartphone, at least one smartphone. So this makes it such that you can actually create a retail payment system that is smartphone-based. And why is this needed? Well, in Cambodia, 80% of people don't have a bank account. So they don't have access to digital payments. They can't, easily send money to someone. The way it works now is you use a money transmitter. You walk there with cash. You give them the money, and then they send an SMS with a special code, and then the person on the other side takes the code to a physical store and gets the cash. And and I've seen this before too, even if you want to buy something like a house or land, you do it in cash. I've seen people carry huge bags of dollar bills. That's another thing about Cambodia. They use the US dollar and the Cambodian riel. About 80% of all transactions and over 90% of high-value transactions take place in the US dollar. So they don't have much power over monetary policy because of that. And so that's one of the motivating factors for, how do we make it more convenient to use the local currency? So the way we went about doing this is after some thorough, design discussions that took quite a while. We even built a prototype initially over the course of about 8 months or so, and that gave us a lot of insights into what the business processes should be. So first, we decided don't touch monetary policy if you're trying to create a central bank digital currency. That's way too politically of a charged issue. It's better to just take the existing policy that you have and digitize it in a way. So in Cambodia, this is fairly easy because everyone uses cash. So the solution in creating a central bank digital currency is you actually make it 100% reserved by this physical cash. So the first step, of course, is to get rid of the cash, and then long term you can do more interesting things possibly. But that might involve politicians, and that takes a long time. So each commercial bank, we decided also to go with the model where the central bank doesn't deal directly with the populace. They maintain a central ledger that everyone can have access to, but each of the commercial banks actually does the KYC, the AML. They're responsible for maintaining the account of each of the users. So each commercial bank has a reserve account with the central bank. This is actually physical cash that's in a vault. And this is US dollar or Cambodian riel. And what we have is we built just a parallel system where each bank now gets 2 reserve accounts. And to move money between the two, you just use the existing core banking system. You just send the money to a designated account, and then this digitizes the money. You're given a disbursement of the digital fiat. And then the commercial bank can then give it to their customers or do anything they want with it. Send it to another bank, send it anywhere, really. So this is an interesting model because it allows each of the commercial banks to then open these digital money accounts with everyone in the country. And the idea really, the goal is to make it so that anyone can own their own keys on the phone. So what we have is we built actually a sample app where the keys are generated on the phone, and then each of the users registers through one of the banks that they have. And so this is still in the prototype phase, but we're going to start a pilot probably next month or the month after. And 33 of the banks in the country joined the pilot. So it should be quite interesting. But what we have now is the banks are the service providers. And this has important implications because people lose their phones, right? So you can't have it like with Bitcoin or something like that, where if you lose your phone, you lose all of your money. That wouldn't fly. So what we have is a protocol that ties in with the blockchain, where in our blockchain that we're using, Hyperledger Iroha, there's a robust permissioning system. And so you can add and remove keys that are associated with an account. And so the commercial banks have the access to do this. So if you lose your phone, you go in, you have your physical passport, and you can prove your identity using existing protocols. And then they can actually change the keys that are associated with your account. So there's no backups that everyone has to do. It's very easy and smooth. So this allows you to create a system in parallel that can actually onboard everyone in the country without doing significant changes to the structure. And because only 20% of people have bank accounts right now, the government is changing it so you can create this low-value digital currency account that can actually be onboarded even remotely. So you don't have to go to a physical bank. You can do this in a much easier way. So this will hopefully increase people who have access to financial institutions within the kingdom. So the key, I just wanted to summarize a little bit, and then I don't know if I'll have time for questions. I guess I'll just kind of summarize some of the key messages that you should take home. One is that you can have a decentralized business logic even with a centralized infrastructure. infrastructure. So the central bank actually owns all the servers, and they run this in highly secure data centers. But, so you might ask, why use blockchain at all? Well, the answer is everyone has their own keys. And this allows it such that even the central bank can't fake that you made a transaction. Because they never have access to your key. Only the keys are in this device, they never go anywhere else. So this kind of makes it so that you own the assets. And this is important for trust, especially at the population level of a large population. Another lesson that you can take home is that you can use social constructs that exist already to make blockchain usable for normal people, right? So you already have banks that are regulated. They have to do, very intense reporting. So why not use that if you're going to create a new digital currency that's run by a central bank? So you can use this to actually provide services to all these users, and you can make it so they can do things like backing up your account if you lose your keys. And then finally, one of the lessons, I think, is that blockchain isn't something to fear. A lot of people think because the technology is so nascent that maybe it's too early to choose one platform. People are afraid of getting locked into a platform. I hear that a lot. But it's really not something to be so afraid of. With the proper system architecture and engineering, you don't have to even have that issue, because in the future, for instance, if you want to switch to another blockchain platform, you can do this via something like a bridge. And I don't know if anyone from Web3 is here, but the Polkadot project is doing a really nice protocol linking different blockchains together, so that in the future you can do things like move assets from one system to another as needed. So I think that's about all the time I have, but hopefully that was somewhat interesting, and I'll be around, so feel free to talk. And I'll hand off to Sandra, who's got something else for us.
So we have a little story here. And by the way, there's a glass for everyone, so hold this.
Okay.
And you're going to tell the story about this. So Makoto, by the way, thank you very much. Soramitsu, I forgot to mention, also is a sponsor and GBT supporter member. So thank you very much for that, Makoto and team. So Makoto was like, all right, well, I have some crypto wine I'd like to bring and share with the GBT community at Davos. And I said, okay, that sounds good. I don't really understand what crypto wine is, but okay. So he says, I'll have a case delivered to Davos. All right. Get the address, he starts preparing, and then we run into a glitch. What was that glitch, Makoto?
Oh, should I tell the story? Okay, so the problem is, so this is a new wine startup in California, and they have a state license. They worked with a licensed facility to create this wine, but they don't have a federal license. So without a federal license, you can't ship across state borders in the US. And so DHL returned our case of wine, and the problem is they were supposed to get their license in December, but unfortunately some large country doesn't have a government that's functional right now, so they weren't able to get their license in time.
Yes, so hold on. All of you are going to get basically a thimbleful of wine to taste, because Makoto had one bottle with him and he brought that one. Where's Heidi Pease? Heidi Pease is all the way back there. It took a coordinated effort in Los Angeles, where she was staying over in Santa Monica. She lives in Arizona, by the way. As she was coming through, for her to bring 4 more bottles. Literally a Herculean effort. And there was a chat group called the Crypto Wine Crisis. So, the power of getting things done. Thank you, Heidi Pease. Thank you, Makoto. And no thank you to the large government that is still shut down. And nameless. So enjoy and have a spot of wine.
Should I talk about the cheers?
Yes, please do. Cheers, everyone.
So I'll just tell you the story of this wine a little bit. It's actually not bad.
What is it called?
It's called Vincero. So Vincero, I think, is Italian. Are there any Italian speaker here? Otherwise, I'll just make something up. Oh, huh? It means like to rise and win or something. Yeah, to win, right? And so this is made by 2 kind of hipsters in California that I know, and they're kind of directors. One guy's the director. The girls actually used to do marketing for Nike. And the story of this wine is that we had a mutual friend in Tokyo, and I'm starting a project called Sora. And Sora is a decentralized autonomous economy. It's a system where everyone basically votes on how you allocate new tokens on this platform. So you can allocate tokens to some project that is proposed. And so one of the projects proposed is this wine project. You know, these people needed, they wanted to be part of this ecosystem. And so the idea is that people vote to give them some tokens and that are newly minted, and that this is something like, similar to like a rational monetary policy is the equivalent of what we're trying to create. But anyway, so we kind of, we're able to hook them up with the platform that we're building as kind of one of the first projects. And so I gave them a loan out of my own money because there's no token created. And they were able to create the wine. This wine is hand-picked under the full moon. So the whole idea is you have this biodynamism, and it's organic wine, organic Pinot Noir from California. And then it's very engineered. So it's not méthode traditionnelle or anything like that. It's a forced carbonated wine, but it's kind of made to be, kind of a lower priced thing. And they actually want to put it in cans. I don't know. Maybe to Europeans that sounds weird, but in America, but in America, it's kind of a popular thing to have wine in a can, especially at hipster parties in LA. So this is just a collaboration between, I don't know, using blockchain technology and this idea of decentralized economic systems and actually creating goods and services that are tangible and you can taste. So cheers again and enjoy your evening.
Great. Thank you, guys.